Rated Gen Z, where real talks get real. Each episode dives deep into the minds of 18 to 24-year-olds, exploring their dreams, struggles, and perspectives that most people never hear. We're diving into the chaos that defines a generation everyone talks about, but nobody actually listens to. This isn't just a podcast. This is a generation speaking. Welcome to Rated Gen Z. Bridge, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm fantastic. I love, okay, so I'm gonna let you intro yourself, but I'm gonna say I'm a little nervous because you're like my most seasoned podcast guest, and you can say why.
Yes, okay. So let me give a quick introduction on who I am. So first of all, my name is Bridge Garg. I'm a freshman at Cornell University. I'm studying both communication and computer science right now. They're forcing me to choose one, but I am studying both of them as much as I possibly can because I'm fascinated by both of them. Other than that, like Raquel mentioned, I do a lot of stuff. So for one, I am a podcaster. My home family has a very medium-sized podcast that's growing. We record a lot, so I think we've recorded over 60 episodes by now, so I'm definitely very seasoned in
Nice.
understanding what the podcast game is like, how to monologue, and different things that come with that. In addition, I have my own platforms everywhere. I promote content, I make content. I'm a very big social media guy. I love social media. I love helping other people grow their social media. I love giving tips and just helping as many people as I can. I just obsess with social media, basically. And yeah, that's kind of what makes me Bridge.
Yeah, so thanks for coming on because I feel like I said, you do know what you're talking about, and you and I have already spoken. We've already talked about you helping me out with my social media as well, being that I am trying to reach your generation. So what better way to do it than someone that is of that generation and knows what they're doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, that's interesting because you said communications and computer science. Like
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like ways to bring those together? Like, what kind of career would make sense to use
I know
both?
it makes no sense, but here's what I'm thinking. So basically, as I mentioned, I'm obsessed with social media. And
Yeah,
one of the biggest things that comes with social media is communication. How am
yeah,
I communicating to social media? How am I communicating to help people who watch me through social media understand who I am, like me for who I am? So there's a lot that comes with communication, social media. That's obvious. Now,
yeah,
what's not obvious is how does computer science play a role? Why does
exactly.
coding or making, I don't know, programs relate to social media? But I would argue that if there is some sort of solution to combine both the AI computer science world that's taking over right now with the social media world that's already been taking over for the last 5 years, that can be something beautiful and it could really revolutionize the world.
True. But then I'll have to add to that as an older generation, Gen Xer, how to also incorporate the human connection and the human element
Yeah,
of it still. Like we still
yeah,
need that.
of
So
course.
it's having that as part of it as well. It's like, yeah, we'll have to figure something out. But that's what's really cool, Bridge, is that a lot of the jobs that you guys have now and careers didn't exist when I was your age. So who's to say like you could be onto some new career that we don't even realize is going to exist yet? That's like what's so cool about all of this
Yeah.
is that it's
Eh,
like the world is your oyster.
Yeah. And you know what's so interesting about your point too is that I always see a lot of people who are of older generations. I'm obviously Gen Zer. So I speak a lot for the people who are also part of Gen Z and what we
Yeah.
think and job applications. And a lot of what people do nowadays are just become influencers. People post on social media, people podcast, people make funny content, people make serious content. And being an influencer is now almost, not almost, I would argue that it is a job. It's posting so often. It's becoming one of those people that everyone knows their name of. And that's so foreign to people of older generations. I
Yeah.
had a very long conversation with somebody who's older, and they told me that it's embarrassing to be an influencer. And they said that's not what we used to do. What we used to do was mine. We used to be in factories, like putting our lives on the line to make money.
Yeah.
And you guys are just sitting in front of a camera doing BS. And I obviously disagreed with that, but I do think it's interesting how much the job market has changed since over the years, especially the recent ones.
Yeah. I mean, I spoke to a group of young women yesterday in Africa in STEM. But my conversation was based around like, okay, you want to put yourself out there because what they're doing is making a positive impact. And so, like, even
Mm,
someone like myself who is going to be 50 and you and I spoke about this where, yes, I know enough about social media and I'm pretty savvy, but like it is a lot of work
Hmm.
and it can be really exhausting. But for me, I just think, okay, this is for a bigger purpose. Like what I'm trying to do is make a broader impact globally, and the only way to do that is to put myself out there. So I try to remind people that if you are trying to like help others, then being an influencer or being on social media or creating content is not a horrible thing because you're just expanding your voice and your message further out. And so I feel like not enough people realize that that's also what is happening.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. I also think that what you're doing specifically is very taboo in the way that it's a lot more, you're very well connected and very well thinking about how other people are feeling, making sure that everyone's voice is heard, which I think is a little bit different from a lot of people because
Yeah.
people don't really care about other people anymore. No one's thinking about, is my friend doing well today? How are you doing today? If it's not your
Yeah.
immediate family or yourself, even for some people, they just don't care, which is why I think that it's important to support people like yourself and other people who want to help out, who want to promote themselves and don't know how. That's why I love working with people like you because it
Oh,
really allows to, not just show that I can help you, but also help other people throughout that process. And that's what the beauty of the game is.
well, I appreciate that. But tell me, what do you think it is about your generation specifically that like you don't care?
I
Like,
mean,
what
that's a
is it?
great.
Like, yeah, like I'm curious, like where is this empathy like going? Like, why are we losing it so much?
I honestly, listen, I have a bunch of theories. There's no known fact. One of the things
Yeah.
is because of the way the world works with media and companies just outright saying exactly what they're looking for, it is so competitive. Everything is so competitive nowadays. Getting into college is the most competitive thing in the world. People cry because they don't get into like a 5% acceptance college, but get into a 20% acceptance college, which is just as great. And
Yeah.
people are fighting for the same four spots for a company that has 100 spots. It's just such a competitive environment that you almost want all your friends to fail alongside with you so that you feel better when you fail. And because, growing up for me was differently was I failed at so many things. I even failed at getting an ice cream parlor job that everybody else got. So I'm used to it to the point where I'm like, okay, you all succeed, let me fail, and hopefully something good comes out of that. But I know that that's very different for other people, especially in my generation. And I'm now a freshman in college, so I really see it amongst the job applications people it's just ruthless. It is ruthless what these
Yeah.
companies do to put your friends against each other. If you and your friend are studying the same thing, it's no longer you're studying the same thing, hoping you both do well. It's studying the same thing, competing with each other to see who can get that one spot over each other. And it just the idea of friendship just changed. It's just different now.
Yeah, you made a really good point about how yeah, you want your friends not to do as well because then it does make you feel better like, oh, well, I wasn't able to get in or I didn't get that job. They
Yeah.
didn't either. Okay. So it's like, yeah, you feel better about yourself. And so it does make sense because we do live in this kind of world where like when people make mistakes, we're almost like, oh, thank goodness, but because we still portray like that everything has to be perfect and that you have to be successful. So it's like a weird thing of like, we all know we're not perfect. We all
Yeah.
know that we're going to make mistakes. We're all human. We're all going to fail. But yet, like, we have this expectation of one another to be perfect. And I'm just like, how do we get rid of that? Like, I mean, we can, at this point, I feel like it's just worse because of social media. So
Yeah, it
it's not going to
definitely
go
is.
away. So, like, it's just how do you cope with it, I guess.
I mean, one, honestly, is one of the biggest things is you have to be honest with yourself. The fact is, and I hate saying this because it sounds so mean, but the fact is, you are going to feel better about yourself when your friends are also doing bad as you. If you see all your friends succeeding and just, getting that job, getting that A plus on every test, and you're getting that B on every test, you're not getting any internships or anything, it's going to make you feel a little bit shitty. You're going to think, wow, I'm not working
Yeah.
as hard. Maybe they're just smarter than me. But when they don't do as well, you're thinking, wow, we're both in this together. You understand me. We're both I guess, not doing as well as we thought we would. So I think a
Yeah.
lot of it comes with just honesty. And then once you realize, the situation of where you are, how annoying it is when certain situations can occur, it makes you feel a little bit more, camaraderie with other people. Because I found for myself, just going through these experiences early in life, failing, succeeding, doing different things, I found that now it's become to the point where I'm so used to it. I'm so on my own path that if you succeed, I'm happy for you. I hope you succeed. I really hope you do. If you fail, I hope you fail. There's so much to learn from failing, but I've already been through it. I People make fun of me all the time for being a social media guru. At this point, there's not that much left for me to like care about what other people are thinking or what other people are doing. This is more of
Yeah.
a one person show at this point.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a reason why you have all those cliche sayings like misery loves company,
Yeah,
all of those
exactly.
things. Yeah. I mean, and
Yeah.
that's been around for decades. So
Yeah.
clearly, every generation's kind of experienced the same thing. It's just a different level. With you guys, the level is just at the point where you get to see what everybody else is doing. And that's the difference. You get to see when someone does fail or succeeds or is successful, and that's where you start really comparing yourself with others. And I think that's the really tough part, because even as an adult, even with all the adults that I have worked with in the past to get on social media, same thing. It's that level of I don't know what are people going to say about me, and the judgment piece, and I'm not as good as they are. I'm like, well, first of all, it takes time. So even our generations are struggling with that. So I can only imagine like how exaggerated it is for all of you.
Would you say that that competitive nature just hasn't left since you've grown up? People are still hoping each other do worse or do better or
You know
whatever the
what I
case may
think
be.
it is, Bridge, is I think it's natural for people to have a chip on their shoulder. Like
Mm,
I really do. Like I kind of have a chip on my shoulder too. Like I feel like I have to prove myself in so many different ways. And I feel like that's never going to go away.
hmm
Um, I think it would go away if like our upbringing was completely different, but like I
hmm
feel like we just the way our childhood, our upbringing, friends, just society in general, I think we're always going to have that element of competitiveness.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't think that's going to change, definitely, but it's hard. It messes with your head, It like really fucks it up.
It
Excuse
really
my
does.
language, but it really does, you
It
know?
does. It's difficult to put that in the back burner and think, okay, let me just focus on myself. But then you see everything on Instagram, you see everything on TikTok, you see people coming up to you, you see LinkedIn posts of people saying, I just had the biggest success of my life. I'm happy to announce, I'm proud to announce. And
Yeah.
it's like, oh my God.
Right. So for someone like yourself, because I had this conversation with someone I just recorded, and she's considered an influencer, and she's an
Mm,
actress and gorgeous young woman, but has such a great head on her shoulders. She's able to basically like remove herself from that and have her moments of like being off of her phone and doing things that make her happy and doing like
mm.
self-care Sundays and all of those things. So what do you do specifically to help you, or do you? You
Yeah,
might not.
so
I'm
I was
assuming you
gonna
do.
say, honestly, and I've become a lot more developed in how I treat people and what I'm doing to help other people with their social media. In these recent few weeks, months, it's been very, very difficult to focus on myself. It's
Oh
been a
yeah.
lot of like every 10 minutes I'm looking at my DMs, making sure nobody's messaging me. Because, one of the most important things is responding on time. You don't want
Yeah.
people to think about you for a second and then forget about you the next day. So I'm constantly, constantly responding to people, responding to emails, responding to text messages. There's so many different things that's going on. But what I will say is, and since I'm on spring break, this is really in fashion for me, is hanging out with my little brother, hanging out with my family, just hanging out with the people that, love me. It's been such a blessing and such a good time for me to take a step back, really reflect on what I'm doing, what makes me happy, what drives me. And I think that hanging out with the people I love really has given me that sense of calmness that I just have not had for the last couple of weeks and even months, honestly.
I think people underestimate their families.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times we get annoyed by them. Believe me, I live with my mom and I can get really annoyed. But my sister's local, my dad's local, and I lived
Mm.
far away. I lived in Virginia for 22, 23 years away
Oh
from my
my
family.
God.
And now I'm back and I'm like back in there. But it's like I have such a different appreciation for them and everything. So I love that you appreciate them and you understand like what they do for you and to
hmm
spend time with them, because I think that's another element too that sometimes like gets lost is, the whole family piece of it, because family's tough.
It is.
Like there's a lot of people that have to get triggered by their family members. I know I do.
I do
But
too.
it's yeah. Yeah, so I mean, and that's the thing is like, so you guys have your podcast, and I have seen a couple episodes.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, like how did that come to be? Because I will tell you this, my family, my parents, my siblings, and myself, we do therapy, family therapy, and we have for
Mm.
almost 3 years now. And whoa, was it like, oh, that was one of the hardest things I've ever done. We all dreaded it because we knew like stuff was going to come up and like traumas and then my parents, were like, you guys suck and, blah, and this and that. And they're like just sitting there going, we had no idea that we were like, doing this to you guys. So like with your podcast, that takes a lot of trust within
Oh my
you guys
God.
to do that. So like how did that even come to be that you guys were like, okay, we're going to trust this and we're going to trust each other?
Yeah, okay. So first things first is obviously my mom is kind of the star of our podcast, the star of our family.
Right.
She is a comedian. She's the reason why we're all in the public face, why we all are on social media to begin with. We're all public faces. Then second, that what comes with that is just as a family, we're all very talkative. We love to speak, we love to argue with each other, we love to be right and, prove that the other one's wrong and win debates against each other. So once we realized that all of our dinner conversations were just such good topics that a lot of
Yeah.
families don't talk about. We wanted to put ourselves on the game. We wanted to make podcast episodes, show other families that it's okay to talk about these topics. I think it very similar to your case, how you had a family therapist. This is our form of family therapy
Yeah.
because we always, I mean, for example, some of our episodes are extremely absurd for families to talk about, and no family should, like, honestly, should ever talk about them. But we do it just in case because
I know.
one, it's
I think
funny.
one of the latest ones was like a sex. Like,
Yeah, the sex topic. So we talked about sex as a family. Can you imagine that with your mom, with your dad?
no. Like I'm like literally getting red right now. Like I'm blushing. Like that's how pathetic it is.
Yeah, so exactly. We do some very, very niche topics that we
Yeah.
want to encourage other families to talk about because we think it's healthy. But honestly, that's how it came to be, is we were all just talking about it behind the scenes, just having debates with each other that we felt we needed to put on a podcast, show other families that you can do this, that every family bickers, every family argues with each other. That's just part of life. You live with each other for 18 years, you're gonna argue every day. That's just
Yeah.
how it is. So honestly, once we got past that part of just getting ourselves in the limelight, showing our faces on
Yeah.
social media, that was the first step. And then once we finally did that, it became possible to do the podcast. It became an opportunity to do the podcast because we wanted to capitalize on all the success my mom has brought us from the limelight.
hmm
So honestly, there was a lot of things that built up and just came together. So it made us really think, okay, damn, we need to start our podcast. And then we did.
Yeah. Have you found like people reaching out to you guys and being like, oh my gosh, thanks to you guys, like our family talks more and we're more open with each
Yes.
other. Like you're finding that you're really making an impact in that way?
Yes, and that's the most validating
Yeah.
feeling that we get is when we see those comments or we see I get a DM every now and then. Sometimes people even argue with me in my DMs. They say, I heard you say this on your podcast. I think this, and this is why I disagree with you. And then we'll have a conversation. I'm open to anything. I'm not going to sit there and say, you don't agree with me. I hate you. I'm going to say,
Yeah.
okay, that's very interesting. So we get that a lot. It's really validating. I love that feeling. We also get, by the way, just so people are aware, social media is not friendly. We get a lot of hate. I specifically get a lot of hate. People in the comments say mean things all the time. I barely do some things. I would disagree with a lot of it, but people will just say, people are upset with themselves. They're upset with the world. They're upset at
Yeah.
different things. So they just hate. And if you're someone looking to be an influencer, I'm talking to the audience, to the public now.
Yeah.
If you're someone who's looking to be an influencer, you really have to understand that that's just how life is. It's just gonna come with it.
I know. I'm actually really kind of afraid of that because
Yeah.
I've been very blessed that up till now, everything that I put out there, and I do feel because I built a community of people and they've seen my journey, that everybody's really supportive and really kind. And I rarely have had any negative comments. I might a handful in the last 10 years that I've been posting on social media. So I'm
That's
very
incredible.
blessed in that regard. But I kind of anticipate with what I'm doing with all of you and having conversations with you guys that I'm
Hmm.
going to like stir up stuff because what I have found with your generation bridge is that once again, you guys talk about things that I might be uncomfortable with, or my audience that's older might be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they're talking about that and they're saying that, and like, oh my God, they're going to offend someone. I also have to be like, if he's okay with it, if she's okay with it, like, and they're saying these things and they know they're on a podcast, who am I to be
Mm.
the one that's like, you can't say that, or what are you doing? Right. And so I
Yeah.
know that it's going to invite people to have an opinion. And I honestly, I don't know how I'm going to deal with it because I haven't really had to. So I'm curious if it's going to like destroy me.
Well, I hope not. I hope not. I mean, at the end of the day, you have to understand what you're doing is so great for the people. It's great for yourself. You shouldn't let people who are upset
I
at the world upset themselves disrupt what you're doing and disrupt your mission on what you're going to accomplish.
Yeah, it's a good thing that I have a personal therapist too. I actually have a call with
Yeah.
her today, and she's someone that I've already been like, "Hey, with what I'm doing, like I feel like we're gonna have to have conversations about
Mm,
putting myself out there more and more
yeah.
and having to deal with all the negativity that can come with it because
Yeah.
yeah, that is a real thing."
Yeah.
And the
It is a
fact
real, it's a
that
very real
like
thing.
yeah, and I mean, did it bother you at all at first, or you've always kind of been someone that's like, "Oh well."
Again, I mean, my life is very different than other people's lives because I have
Yeah.
been in the public face now since I can remember, honestly, my whole mature life. I've
I
been
was gonna
making
ask you,
skits.
like, so
Yeah.
ever since you were little, like this has been a thing.
This has been a thing since ever since
Okay.
I was little. So for me, honestly, it's at this point I'm used to it. There's nothing really
Okay.
they can throw at me that I haven't really seen. So I, I'm used to it. Again, a lot of the times dealing with it is just not reading it.
Okay.
I hate scrolling through my comment section sometimes when I know they're gonna disagree with me or they're gonna hate on something I say. And there's just not hate on something I say, but hate on me
Yeah.
for some completely separated reason that has nothing to do with what I'm saying. So sometimes I just won't even read the comments. I'm just gonna say, you know what? This time I'm just not gonna read the comments. I don't want to see it right now. I'm not in the mood. Can I please just move on to the next thing? And then once
Yeah.
I do that, it helps me get through it. Because I will admit, if I when I do read it, sometimes it gets to me. Sometimes I'm thinking, oh my God, maybe they're right. Maybe I need to change this about myself.
Oh.
Maybe I need to do this. Maybe I need to change my hairstyle. Maybe I need to change, shape, like just different things. Because people come up with everything, right? People throw
Everything.
anything at you. So sometimes just, take a step away, don't read it. It just gets to a point and where you really just understand people are just hating. They're just hating. It's as simple as
Yeah.
that. They just want to hate and they're taking it out on you. And I especially know for you personally, with your whole like generational, you're tying generations together, generations are gonna clash. It
Yeah.
tends to be that generations get angry towards each
Yeah, I was gonna say like they like to try to say that they know better
that
or,
they know better, of course.
yeah.
It'll be like the older generation saying, "Oh, we've been there, we know everything." Then the younger generation saying, "You don't know anything. The world is different." So
Yeah.
there is a lot of generational clash when it comes to those things. So I'm curious to see how you're gonna handle it, how what your comment sections are gonna look like going forward.
I'll be calling you. I'm like, what do I do? You're gonna be like having to calm me down.
Yes,
But I mean, like we say, it comes with the territory and it's something that does need to be spoken
it's
about.
just how it is, honestly. Sometimes people just love to
Yeah.
hate. It's as simple as that. They want to.
Well, I mean, hopefully one day it'll change where people, are nicer than they are meaner.
I mean, hopefully. Honestly,
Hopefully.
tying it back into earlier this episode, we talked a lot how about people like clash and people want other people to fail when they're failing.
Yeah.
A lot of it comes into the comment section of maybe someone seeing you as someone who's 50 years old, starting a whole, or not starting, you've been doing it, but continuing
Yeah.
an extreme adventure with a very unique mission, thinking, wow, she's able to do all of that at 50 years old, and I'm not doing anything in my life.
Yeah.
Why would I be happy about what she's doing? I want her to fail. I want her to do just as bad as I'm doing, even though
Yeah.
you're obviously doing what you feel that you need to be doing. And I think a lot of it comes from that as well.
A lot of it is insecurities, and this is something that I was talking to on a podcast yesterday, and one of the ones that I was recording. And a lot of it is also hopefully that people could get to a place where they become self-aware and recognize, why am I so angry? Why am I so jealous? Why do I want this person to fail? What is it about me that doesn't want this person to be happy?
Hmm.
And I think I'm blessed. Like I said, I have a therapist, so I'm able to have those conversations and really get down to the core of why I need
Hmm.
external validation and why all of these things and why I'm a people pleaser and why I do care what people think.
Hmm.
I'm able to get to that place and then recognize it and then change it, right? So I feel like
Hmm.
that's another thing too, but that's a whole nother thing is the mental health aspect and having access to therapists, to counselors, because I think a lot of it is that bridge is that we're not recognizing why we're feeling this way. And I think if we could get to the core of that, then
Hmm.
I feel like it would make a difference. But that's a whole nother thing. You can't have every single person go to a therapist. I wish
Yeah.
to really do, but I think that's what it is the
It's
self-awareness. But I find that your generation, the self-awareness comes much younger.
yeah.
I mean, you guys are pretty self-aware. I
I
mean, do
think
you think
that
you're self-aware? Like, do you find yourself as someone that's pretty emotionally intelligent and self-aware?
I wouldn't say emotionally intelligent, but
Oh, okay.
I would say I try. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, I also need therapy. I think a lot of people need therapy. I'm battling a lot of things.
Yeah.
Obviously not nothing serious, but I need
Right.
to
We all
learn more about
battle. We all have
myself.
battles.
I
Yeah.
try to learn more about myself. Occasionally I journal, try to see like why do I think this? You know, what because even I sometimes find myself falling into these traps of thinking, wow, I can't believe this person just did this.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'm not happy about the way life is turning out at this particular moment. I try to step back. I never spew hate. I try to be as positive as a person as possible. I think for me, a lot of it comes with identifying how I'm feeling in the moment and why I'm feeling that way. And
Yeah.
just like you said, getting down to the core of what makes you think that really helps you understand why you think that, what you can do to change it, just different things to make yourself a
Yeah.
much more positive person. But then that brings me to the question is how do we, help get other people to think that, get other people to really think about themselves and why they're being a hater, why they're commenting hatred,
Yeah.
why they're talking shit about you behind your back, why different things come into play. Why? I just don't
Yeah.
understand it. I don't understand how we can change society like that. That's something that I really wish would change, but and the way the world is working with social media, I see it with my brother because he's almost generation alpha
How
and
old
their
is your brother?
generation, he's 13. So
Oh
he's
gosh.
technically a Gen Zer,
Yeah, I was
but
like,
by
he's right on
one
the
year.
cusp,
He's
right?
right on the cusp.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but all of his friends are Gen Alpha, so I see them all the time, see what they think. I mean, this generation is just, oh my God. So some of the he had a sleepover with one of his friends, and his friend slept with AirPods in, listening to music. And I just thought, what? This is
Yeah.
insane. It's just what is going on?
Yeah, and that's the thing. I'm like, there's a whole bunch of studies coming out. There was one that came out yesterday about how like this particular generation alpha is like you're gonna see the difference between that generation because they have solely grown up on social media and technology.
Mm,
You guys, at least like the guest that I had yesterday, he just turned 26, so he remembers like prior to iPhone, social media.
yeah.
So he has like at least a balance of like, oh, I remember what it used to be. Like your
Hmm.
brothers generate like Gen Alpha,
Yeah.
like they have no recollection of
Yeah.
that. Like that's how it was. So I'm curious to see how that's going to even be even more of like people think your generation's crazy right now. Like wait till like Gen Alpha starts like, coming into play. That's going to
And
be great.
don't you have a separate podcast as well for them?
Yeah, so I have Rock the Boat, which is
Rock the boat.
under 18, and I do have a guest coming on. She's 16. Like as of late, there've been like 16-year-olds that have been coming on. And technically they're still Generation Z, but I have had Gen Alpha on there. I feel like at some point I'm gonna be having more Gen Alphas on Rock the
Mm,
Boat for sure
yeah.
as they get a little bit older.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'll be very interesting to see the difference.
We need those generational perspectives. We need to
Yes.
see why do we all think differently? Why do we all maybe you're right. Maybe it comes down to the fact that we all grew up in different circumstances. The older generation, their whole life, or not their whole life, but a lot of their life, for example, was without social media, without
Yeah.
iPhones, without technology to that level. My life was half of that. I remember
Yeah.
going up until seventh grade, no one really cared about short form content. There was Vines at most, but that was barely even a big thing.
Okay.
And then now my brother's generation is completely social media. He doesn't remember a single day and where there wasn't scrolling on your phone for hours every single day. So,
Yeah, and even well, I was talking about how like Snapchat, like my
oh
kids, they're
yeah,
they're 24 and almost 21, and they don't even text each other. They Snapchat each other. So like even
they
texting is
Snapchat
kind
each
of
other.
antiquated for your generation at times. Yeah.
I'm
It's
gonna give
funny.
you
I'll be
some.
in the car and they literally are just like taking pictures, but like they do like this most hideous angle. I'm like, that is such an ugly angle that you are like sending pictures to your friends. But like, it's a thing. And then the point 0.5,
Oh,
whatever
point
camera
five
lens, and
photos,
then the
yeah.
eyes. And I mean, I think it's kind of, if anything, I'm like, you know what? I actually appreciate that they don't care what they look like in that moment and they're just being silly because I don't know
Yeah.
if I could do that. I'd be like, that's not a good angle. Like my nose looks big. Like, no, like, but that's like what they do. Do you do that?
No, so I will admit, of course, when I was younger, I did that. There was even something called streaks, which Some of my
Oh,
fellow
yes.
where you send a photo of each other every single day, and
I've
then
been with my
Snapchat
daughter
basically
where she's
says,
like, we gotta take a quick selfie or a quick picture because I can't like end my streak.
exactly. So that's really big, I guess. People don't want to lose streaks. It shows your how close you are with a friend or maybe a boyfriend or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's huge. But recently I deleted Snapchat because I was getting tired of it. I felt I was a little bit too out of touch with the Snapchat game.
Okay.
And I obviously have to study it because as someone who's
What
big
you
in social
do.
media,
Yeah.
you gotta know everything, right? For every platform. I even know LinkedIn Reels now. Can you believe that? LinkedIn has their own videos. I mean, you obviously know that, but
Yeah,
other
but I
people
just
don't
heard
know
that
that.
LinkedIn is getting rid of the video feed.
They
So
are?
like,
Oh,
yeah, I
interesting.
think someone, well, I used to get like all the emails. I don't know why. I should find out why I don't get, because I was part of the content creator program. So I would
Yeah.
get all the emails and I get to beta test everything.
Oh, that's
And
very
I
cool.
did see a friend of mine post that they were getting rid of the feed, which is just the feature where I think at the bottom where you have the video and it's just like a
Yeah, and it's
feed, just
just
like all
yeah.
the other, but video is still going to be super relevant.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I mean, they even tried to do stories. They did
Yeah,
LinkedIn
I know.
stories, and
They're
that
trying to make it Instagram.
as soon as they did that, because once again, I got to beta it, I'm like, this is
Yeah.
gonna flop because everybody's just gonna share their Instagram stories. And most people, like now I start having my LinkedIn followers, like are now follow me on Instagram. Like now I'm slowly getting them over
Yeah.
on my Instagram. What's your favorite platform?
Mine personally, I mean, I think the most impactful platform is Instagram, just because Instagram ties in everything, right?
Okay.
Everyone is on Instagram Reels at this point. Even the people like Generation Alpha kids who are on TikTok are also on Reels. It's just if you're someone who's looking to grow your brand, Instagram is by far, in my opinion, the most
Okay.
effective and efficient way to grow because you're hitting every audience you could possibly imagine, and you can engage them with your own personal posts. Whereas to draw a comparison, a TikTok, for example, you keep posting videos and you reach a new audience every time, but you might not necessarily be engaging your own audience. But with
Yeah.
Instagram, you post reels, you post story polls, you post just graphics that only your fans can see to make it more exclusive towards them. And there's a lot more of a community being built with
Yeah,
Instagram.
that's why
So
I didn't like TikTok because I didn't feel like
yeah,
there was any sense of community over
there's
there.
no
To me, that was
community in
important.
TikTok.
Okay,
Yeah, but
okay,
Instagram builds a community. It
yeah,
helps you reach those people that you would never see otherwise. It's the new way. I just made a video about this actually. It is the new form of cold calling. At this point, why are you cold calling people and spending all that time when you can post one video, hit the 10 times more people than that, and be much more effective because those people want to see your videos, right? And
yeah,
it's just Instagram is just beautiful right now. It's so addictive and there's so many issues with it, but it's so good for young brands and people looking to grow.
okay. That's good to know because I get that I used to get that question all the time with with the mortgage industry, all the loan officers like, where should I go? Where should I go? And I'm like, well, first of
Yeah.
all, go where you think your audience is, right? Like a
Yeah,
lot of them are still on
100%.
Facebook because they deal with older audiences.
Yeah.
Like I got off of Facebook 6 years ago, 6, 7 years ago, because it wasn't serving me. Like
Yeah.
I found it wasn't doing anything. And I was like, why am I going to waste my energy? So my focus has been LinkedIn and then Instagram. Like now Instagram, I've been focusing more on that. And now I'm starting to see like the community and more engagement and all of that. But okay, good. I'm glad to hear that Instagram is because I'm like,
Yeah.
great. It would suck if it wasn't because, like I said, I can't. I have a TikTok, but it's a tough one for me. I forget
Yeah.
to even open my TikTok.
Yeah, it is. TikTok is
Yeah,
definitely it's difficult to commit to yourself to TikTok. It's difficult.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
So do you have are there any like people that are role models to you like in that space, in the social media space that you
yeah.
like really look up to? Who are they? Because I'm curious because I always like to follow new people if I haven't been
Yeah,
following them.
so one is the very famous Gary Vee.
Oh, of
Gary Vee
course. Yeah.
he is just the social media
I
god,
was gonna
right?
actually mention him. Yeah, a lot of people, especially in the mortgage industry, they're big Gary Vee fans.
Oh yeah, that's Gary
Yeah.
that's that's a very Gary Vee type.
Yes. Real estate and mortgage. Yes. Okay, so who else?
Okay, let me think. I mean, one, my mom, I not
Yeah.
only helped like edit and start her on Instagram and all platforms, but the way her platform looks is very good, very professional, very funny. I like the way
Yeah.
I like the way
I
it's
started
handled.
following her recently. She's
Oh,
so
really?
funny. Yeah.
That's great. I love to hear that. I love to hear
Yeah.
that. A couple other people. I like to shout out the people I've worked with because I've seen their progress and I've seen what they do
Okay.
now.
Go
So a
ahead.
man named Suraj Patel, he
How do you spell S-U-R-A-J? Okay.
Surajpatel. Like he has nothing to do with being a social media guy, right? He's not an
Yeah.
influencer or anything. He's actually was running for office. He was a politician and he was running to be a congressional candidate in District 2, which is the district I live in within New York City.
Oh,
And he just ran it so beautifully because he was one of the first politicians, at least that I've seen, to really take advantage of social media. He was posting videos. He was posting videos of him doing interviews on the street, posting videos of him door knocking, getting people to vote, posting videos of him urging people to vote. And it was so interesting to see from a politician's perspective. And it really
yeah.
shows how powerful social media can be. So I love looking at his content now. I don't work with him anymore, but he posts still. Great person to follow. He's very professional.
Okay.
Branding is all the same color. I think that your account looks amazing with your branding. It's
Oh, thank you.
beautifully, the colors are all matching. It looks very professional as well. And I don't like the word professional, even though I've been using it a lot, but I know people do, so I'll continue to use it. I like,
Yeah.
but it does look very good. Your account does look very good. So
Thank you.
yeah, I think those are the major people that I look at when I'm on social media to see their growth.
Yeah, I just like the feel good accounts like MD
Yeah.
Motivator and like all those. Like that to me, I that makes me happy when I scroll through my social media because I tell people too, like you can kind of curate what you're getting fed, right? Like
Yeah.
I get fed a lot of rescues of like puppies because, like I love the whole puppy rescue thing. So then I get a lot of that. And then I do get a lot
Hmm.
of the good movement news and the Upworthy, all of those accounts because if I'm going to scroll through social media, I want it to make me feel happy and feel like there's, good humans in the world and that humanity is not going to shit. Like we're okay. Yeah, so that's kind of like how I curate my feed. What would your feed look like? I'm curious.
Chaotic for one.
Okay, all over the place.
A lot of very, very edited, like styled content because I'm
Okay.
very big into learning all the new trends that come with editing. I like
Okay.
to see, for example, people don't think about this, but when you're watching a video, you'll see captions and you'll see, for example, it'll be like the black cat. And when someone says the black cat, it'll be yellow on the word the, then yellow on the word
Yeah.
black, then yellow on the word cat as you're speaking it because it helps people like pay more attention and really zone into the video and feel attracted to the video. And I
Yeah.
find that fascinating as someone who's obsessed with social media. And I also edit myself occasionally. I love
Yeah.
it. I love seeing videos like that because it teaches me. So I'm very big into self-help, where I watch a lot of videos where they say, okay, maybe self-help in the form of just how I can learn throughout those videos,
Hmm.
or self-help in the ways of them saying, teaching me, this is how you should manage your finances. This is how you should manage your emotions. Do you need a break? This is how you should take your break. So, very big into self-help. I would think that would be probably my number one most viewed thing.
Oh, okay. So then how do you even balance all of it? Because, like you're a full-time student and then you have, your side gig over here and that's it's like, so yeah, do you dedicate like certain hours to the business or do you just kind of like every day is a different day?
So it is unbelievably difficult to time manage
Okay.
all of this. I'm definitely not a pro at this. I wish I was.
Okay.
I know for me personally, I
You're
wake
still
up at
young. You'll get there. You'll get there.
I wake up every day at 5:50 a.m. because I try to because my classes start at 10 or 11, so I try to bang out a lot of work before my classes. Then directly after my classes, I try to study and do homework. Then after I'm done with that, bang out more work for like my side project,
Yeah.
and then go to sleep, wake up, repeat it. So I think for me,
Okay.
that's kind of how I've been handling it, but it is very difficult. And a lot of people, especially advisors, people who are older, they always tell me the most important thing is to, focus on one thing. Less is more, be very, less is more is one of the most famous, I
Yeah,
guess,
or be like
sayings
very
of all time.
intentional. Like
Be
that's
very
something that yeah,
intentional.
that's what I try to do is being more intentional. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to do that too. We can both work on that
Yeah.
together
Yes.
because I am finding it very difficult to be as intentional as possible.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's what I'm trying to do. So that like, yeah, because even as of late for me, like I've had a lot of downtime on purpose because I used to be that person that felt like they had to be productive all the time and fill
Hmm.
everything, every space out of my day. If not, I felt like a failure or like I wasn't doing enough.
Yeah.
And if anything, I'm practicing the opposite of having more downtime. And then when I do something, it's definitely more intentional and I'm like really focused on it. And I'm finding that I'm being more productive that way.
Yeah. I
So
mean,
I knew I needed to change something and do something different, especially now that I'm out on my own and I don't have a boss and I have to like be disciplined in that way. Like I'm learning what works best for me. And yeah, it's definitely a process and it's trying to figure that out. Yeah. So we're
yeah.
always learning. Like it doesn't matter what age you are, you're just gonna always be evolving, learning, changing, all of those things. That's the
Yeah.
beauty of life. Yeah. Well, that's like a perfect way to end the podcast. Is there what's the best way like for people to reach out to? Because I feel like a lot of people might want to have questions and see if there's a way that they can work with you as well and all of those things.
Yeah, so great. Thank you for the shout out.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
you can reach me at Bridge Garg. I'm on all platforms, BRIJGARG. I'm on Instagram, TikTok. I don't post as much on TikTok, but again, I'm also trying to get into that space as Raquel is as well.
Yeah.
So I am trying to get into all those spaces. So, um, well, that's only one I'm not in, but the rest of the platforms I
Yeah.
am. Reach me on LinkedIn, reach me on Instagram. DM me again. I mentioned earlier, I check my DMs like a maniac. I check my LinkedIn. I check everything like a maniac. You can see everything I do there. A lot of what I said on this podcast, well, a lot of what I said on this podcast is I don't really promote normally, but a lot of what I didn't say in this podcast, I do promote on my channel. So I
Yeah.
really hope you check it out. You can see if you're learning how to grow. If you're just curious about what it means to be on social media, check out my channel, DM me. I'm open to everything.
That's awesome. I do love that you said that you're not like on everything like super active on TikTok because I think that's what happens is people think that they have to be like super active on every single platform. If
Yeah.
not, like if they're not going to make it. And I'm like, no, no, no,
Yeah.
you can hone in on certain platforms at
Yeah.
first and then kind of grow like I did. I
Yeah.
honed in on LinkedIn and then I was like, all right, now my focus is going to be Instagram and who's to say what my next one is. But yeah, that's
Yeah.
a good, I love that you're not someone that is like prolific on all platforms yet.
Yeah. That's actually a very astute observation because that's exactly how most of the people I've worked with, including my own mom, grew. And I'd never even thought about that. But yeah, that is very
Yeah.
smart. I'm
Yeah.
gonna take that
So
away. I'm gonna steal
woo!
that.
Yay, I do know what I'm talking about sometimes. I love it. This is awesome, Bridge. Thank you so much for coming on. I
Of
know so many
course.
people are going to want to learn more about what you do and get all those little social media nuggets.
Of
All
course.
right, thank you.
Thank you.
If you enjoyed this episode and you're between the ages of 18 and 24 and would like to be a featured guest, go to rock.vision.